All right, been a while, but welcome to Nerdiversity. I was gonna say we took a little bit of a break there, but we're here. I'll say I am fresh off the heels of seeing the Batman. So I know Josh, you had originally said you're going to try and see it later this week. So I will try and give you as much of a spoiler-free review as possible here. Um, we're also going to talk about a couple of movie trailers and some music since there was music conversation on our little deal yesterday. So we got to dive through that. So what do you want to do first? You want to talk trailers, or you want me to discuss the bet?
Do Batman first.
All right, so let's discuss the bet. So first off, before the movie ever starts, I thought it was interesting what DC is doing because Marvel has always had the intro before every movie where you get the Marvel logo and all the characters and all that stuff. DC is doing something similar here, in which they are saying 2022 and they keep throwing you different characters and whatnot. And they say 2022, I believe the catchphrase is a year, the 2022, the world needs heroes. And then they lay out the plan of the Batman, Black Adam, the Flash, and the sequel to Aquaman. So it's almost like DC is trying to show you that they have a plan, like they have a direction that they're going. So I thought that was a little interesting that DC was trying to kind of convey like, hey, we've got a little bit of a roadmap here. Here's the road we're going down this year. So that was that. As far as the movie, we've discussed it before. It's 3 hours. I'm trying to figure out the best way to go through this that's as spoiler free as possible. It is a very Riddler driven movie. We have had the discussion before that this is more detective Batman than we're used to. And this is a very Riddler driven movie. This is the Riddler going about his plans and Batman taking the clues and trying to follow them to get to what the plan is. Um, the Alfred and Bruce relationship, as we talked about before, is very different than anything we've seen before. Um, Also, because this is more Detective Batman, the relationship between Batman and the police department is very different than what we've seen before. Before, it's always been Batman and Gordon working together, and the police department never really knowing anything about it. Whereas in this movie, Batman is around the police very often. So that is different. This is not your. So here's the caveat before I say this. So I took my father to see this movie. Okay, my father is of the Adam West ilk Batman. My father loved this movie. He is of the mindset, and the reason why I went and saw it is because there has been this whole widespread conversation about, is this the greatest solo Batman movie ever? Is this better than The Dark Knight? He is of that conversation that this is the greatest Batman movie out there.
Wow.
I am not,
Okay.
and here is why. This is not the Bruce Wayne you and I are used to. Okay, and when I say that, okay, you can go through whatever iteration of Bruce Wayne you want, whether it's Keaton, whether it's the quick Kilmer variation, or the Christian Bale variation. Okay, Bruce Wayne, as we know him, is a philanthropist doing, trying to do good for the city without it being known that it is him. Batman is very big on Batman toys. And Batman, when Gotham is dark, Batman is finding the light. This is not this Batman. That is not this Batman. The way I would describe it is this is emo Batman. And this is not a spoiler. I don't think by me giving you one line, I'm telling you a whole lot here. But never once have I ever heard Batman say, "I don't care if I die." Maybe his attitude, but that was that. There is a very different take on the Thomas and Martha deaths in this movie.
Okay.
This is not the, when I say that, I say that in this sense, okay, is it went down the alley and got shot and the pearl necklace went all over the floor? Maybe. They don't really go into detail, but there's more of the backstory of what led to the events of the murder and who may have been behind the murder and all this. There's a whole lot more to it. Like, we always knew Thomas and Martha died, but we never really knew a whole lot about Thomas and Martha. We find out a whole lot about Thomas and Martha in this movie. They are actually a key component of this movie.
So is it, when you say it's like emo Batman, is it more that he's emo in the sense that, like, he obviously doesn't care if he lives or dies, but is that directly correlated to the fact that his parents died, or is it for something unrelated?
Well, he does state at one point that he thought he had mastered all his fears. We lost Josh. I'm sure he'll come back here in a minute. So to continue the thought, I'll finish it up when Josh comes back. But there's a scene where as Bruce Wayne, he's talking about here comes. Let's get Josh back in here. There you go. Welcome back.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
So to continue what I was saying, there's a scene as Bruce Wayne. He's sitting there talking about how he thought he had mastered all his fears. But he came to realize that he hadn't mastered all of them, and the fear that he couldn't get over was the fear of losing someone close to him again, right? Referring to, I guess, bottled up feelings from, his parents' death. What else can I talk about? We see a lot of, I think this is the most we ever see Falcone in a Batman movie. We see a lot of Penguin in the trailer, but Penguin is kind of the right-hand man, where it's more Falcone driven.
Okay.
So Penguin isn't, like I said, this is very Riddler driven. If anything, in the 3 hours, we're probably getting 20 minutes of Oswald. He's not in it at a time. We get a lot of Catwoman, of Selena. And that was the other issue I had, in that, in the comics and in we have had iterations of Catwoman in the movies before. The relationship between Batman and Catwoman has always been Batman trying to bring the good out of Catwoman. He always sees the better half, and we do have moments of that in this movie. But there is toward the end of the movie, there is a scene with him and Catwoman where Catwoman makes a reference, and I'm waiting for Bruce or Batman, however we want to refer to him, to try and pull the good out of her, and he doesn't. And because this movie is so comic driven, they take a lot of things from the comics. There are a lot of if you ever read the Batman comics, especially early Batman comics, I mean, they go almost out of the comic book onto the screen. They've taken a lot from the comic. But that was the other thing that and I'm probably nitpicking on that, but that was the other thing I noticed. They set up the sequel though very easily. I'm not giving a spoiler alert because it's already out there. Reeves has come out and said it. The sequel is going to be Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
He's not hiding it. And at the end, it is set up with the slow introduction or peak at the next villain.
Okay.
Don't give you a great look, but there is a distinctable thing that they give you that shows you who said character is. There is no end credit scene. The only end credit thing that they do give you is Riddler has his green question mark. Before the movie came out, there was a website set up to it. It's prevalent in the movie. It is brought up again because they've set up a website afterwards. So nothing really end credit there. But like I said, for you and I, who grew up with Keaton Batman and lived through the Kilmer, and then we had the Christian Bale, and I think most people take that Dark Knight trilogy and Christian Bale Batman as the pinnacle Batman. This is a very different take, and I think that's why I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how exactly I feel about what I just watched, because it's that different.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I watched the trailer and everything, so it did seem like it was going to be different. Was it R or is it PG-13?
It's a good question. I believe it's PG-13. I mean, if it got R, it's because of quote unquote violence. I mean, we do see. The one thing I will say is we do see Batman lose control a couple of times, a little more than we normally would. He still sticks to the no gun policy, but as far as when going after somebody, usually it's disarm, subdue, move on. Whereas there's a couple of times where we see Batman linger on a particular victim.
Okay. Interesting. So it's definitely more because this is 2 years in, roughly. I think they said like 2 years into him being Batman.
Yeah, this is definitely young adult Bruce.
Okay. So they got some anger issues. Not necessarily. I mean, he's yet. Do we still see gadgets and stuff like this, or is this just mainly him in the suit?
We see things. Okay. So he has a Batmobile. You've seen the Batmobile in the trailer.
Yep.
It is not. So it has Um, I almost view it as quintessential flame coming out of the back.
Okay.
However, it seems more like it almost seems more like a muscle car that he built as opposed to a Batmobile.
Okay.
He has a motorcycle that he rides, but it doesn't really look any different. It doesn't look like a necessarily a bat cycle. Like there's no real difference between that and any other cycle we might find. I did his logo in the chest. We don't see batarangs in this movie. I am assuming because he can take the logo out and he uses it to cut. I'm assuming that would be his batarangs per se, but we don't ever see
Okay.
them in use. Um, we do see, his usual, shoot up to the ceiling and go up there. The
Right.
other thing, the other thing was there is a scene where he has to jump off the roof, and normally when Batman is jumping off of a building or whatever that it's just wings out and go. That's not what we get here. We get trepidation, and then we get a suit in which there is a parachute. It's really weird. Like it's
Hmm.
not again, it's nothing I've ever seen with Batman.
And this is like a modern day like Batman. This isn't set in like a previous era or anything.
No, this is pretty modern day. I mean, this is Gotham. They're not hiking it back to any, previous eras. I mean, honestly, based on the way this movie is set up, especially villain wise, I feel like, when we've talked about Gotham before, I feel like if you took the end of Gotham and fast forwarded maybe a decade, you could land here.
Hmm. Okay.
Because I mean, look at it this way. You look at Oswald in
Mhm.
Gotham, okay? And in Gotham, Oswald kind of had the empire mostly to himself. But Oswald wasn't the main guy yet. He wasn't, he was Penguin, but he wasn't like the Penguin as we know him. He wasn't, the Danny DeVito Penguin who ran the whole group and was the guy.
Right.
Very similar in this movie. Penguin is not the guy. Say Falcone is the guy in this movie.
Right. But Penguin's there as he's a player, he's just not the player.
Yeah, he's part of the Falcone syndicate. And he's still doing Penguin type things. Um, you know, and Penguin is set up for the sequel too. I mean, they did a I'll give them that. They did a good job of setting up where everybody's going to be. Like, where Penguin's going, what direction Penguin is going in the sequel. What direction Riddler is going in the sequel. All right, they've introduced you to another character, which, like I said, it's very distinctive as to who it is. Although there is a debate that it could be two different villains. Apparently, the website that is set up after this movie points to another villain. Like, considering it's Arkham Asylum, I'm assuming we're getting more than one new villain anyway. So both of them,
It could
wouldn't
be both.
surprise me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if both of them show up. It's just the one that they're showing in this movie, I believe to be a specific one. Although there's a debate as to which one it is. I think it's, like I said, I think it's pretty distinctive as to who it is.
Right. But they've also already come out and said that this isn't canon. So this is just its own.
Yeah, this isn't tied to anything. Right? Like they've said, I think somebody asked them as far as the Joaquin Phoenix thing.
Mhm.
There's no crossover there. which again, going the direction they're going makes sense. I think they're quick to show you that there's no crossover possibility. I don't think that this is tied to anything right now that DC is going toward. What I would be interested to see is, with the Flash coming up, and we know that Flash, much like Strange, which we're going to talk about here soon, is, multiverse. We know we're getting Keaton Batman, and we know that we're getting the last appearance of Affleck Batman.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would throw Pattinson in there.
It's possible.
I mean,
why wouldn't you?
Well, here's why. I mean, so Reeves has been quick to go with that. We're not tied to anything here. This isn't part of some grand plan. I'm not setting anything up. These are just my movies. It seems to be that they're going same path as Dark Knight. It's going to be a trilogy. Blah 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 blah, whatever. But if you're DC, okay, and we've had the conversation about what they're doing with Justice League moving forward, what that Justice League is going to look like. You could, I believe, put a lot of people at ease and hopefully dispel the rumor that we have by putting Pattinson in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would show that, although maybe not now, but at some point, he will be involved in the greater picture.
Okay.
So that's my intrigue there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to try and get to it this week at some point. I said that Doctor Strange was going to get me in theaters, but like some of the reviews that I'm hearing about this and the way that some people are talking about it, I'm like they're all like very true to the comics. Like it's the most detective Batman you've seen or we've ever seen, and I was like, okay, that's my style of Batman. Like that's what I like. I like the Nolan Batman series. Like I like that one. I liked, Keaton's Batman. I haven't really seen a Batman movie that I didn't like until Batman v Superman. So I'm here for it. Wow. I didn't like Batman Forever, like with Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. It wasn't great, but we were children, so I'm a little more forgiving. If I watch that as an adult, I get upset. But
one other thing. Okay, and this could be me looking at things that aren't there, but the fact that it kept being pointed, it kept getting, I don't want to say reference, but the link kept getting shown enough where I'm going to take this loose thread that they're giving me and I'm going to pull on it. There is a indication I may get my wish and we could get a Robin.
Okay. I think they hinted at that in the trailers though too, didn't they?
I don't.
With the church scene.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if. Let me put it this way: the church scene is one of 3 or 4 scenes that, when you put them together, I can't think of why you keep showing me this if that's not the road we're going down.
Right.
All right. Unless it's literally Bruce looking at himself, which in that case, like,
makes sense, I guess.
I mean, we see the, like I said, this is as best way I can describe it, an emo Batman. So I see Bruce's inner turmoil throughout the movie. I don't need to see Bruce looking at a reflection of himself. I mean, we've kind of made that evident. So, like I said, that might not be the road they're going down, but if you're gonna give me a loose thread, I'm gonna pull on it. Especially considering it's the one thing that I keep asking for.
Right.
All right, you gave me one version of it. It was bad. Can I get a real one?
I mean, they gave us a version of Batgirl too. Two versions of Batgirl so far, and neither one has been spectacular. So we'll see.
Oh yeah. I was like, I couldn't. I was confused about the second one for a second, but yeah.
You had what's her name? Super
What we had
popular.
Silverstone the first time.
Yeah, Silverstone the first time, and then the newer one, who did the one season and then backed out. And now we're getting the third one, which is the girl from In the Heights.
You're talking about the show.
Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched the show.
The show was all right. Wasn't great.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'll end up watching the HBO Max show that we're putting together here, because that's going to lead to other things. Or well, I don't know if it's a show or a movie. I keep getting mixed things, but
I don't
that
know. But
that's
yeah,
going to lead. But it obviously leads to bigger things. So I'm gonna watch that.
for sure.
All right. So any other bat questions that I can
No,
attempt to answer here?
no, I have other questions, but I'm gonna wait till I see it. Then we
Okay.
can talk about it.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to
We'll do a
think.
spoiler full show.
We'll do a full breakdown. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm overlooking here. So right, we went through the Alfred thing, Riddler, blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah. I think I kind of covered all the bases.
And after we both see it, then we'll do like I guess by then you'll probably have made up your mind on how you feel about the movie. I'll be able to
Yeah,
tell you right away, but
yeah. Like I said, it's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like Detective Batman. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as a kid, I read the comics too. But
yeah,
it's the movies have led us one way, and even the Bale Batman, which was a darker Batman. All right, it still had your quintessential Bruce Wayne things. Okay, I mean, you think about the bomb that he takes away at the end to save the people. I mean, think about that Batwing that he was driving.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he had all the Bruce Wayne toys still.
Right.
Even this quote unquote Bat cave isn't really a cave.
Hmm. Okay.
It's more like a underground subway.
All right.
So, but yeah, I will say you watch it and then we'll discuss.
For sure.
So the Strange trailer has been out. They put it out during the Super Bowl. They show you the trailer during Batman. There's a lot to take out of this trailer. I guess the most obvious thing that we can pull out is that they don't hide that we are getting. I mean, I don't think they're hiding we're getting X-Men. I mean, they're giving you the intro.
Yeah, because we talked about it before the trailer came out, about how this was going to be more horror-esque, and we had questions about like, is it going to be Elizabeth Olsen that was going to be, just a version of her that was going to be Evil Wanda? Is Scarlet Witch that we know from the show going to be the Evil Wanda? So they're giving us bits and pieces of it. I think that it's going to be. I think it is going to follow that route. I don't think it's going to be as scary as they're making it out to be, though, or like those initial reports were. I mean, it's still going to be a Marvel movie that they want kids to see, but it is darker for sure. Um, I mean, we've seen some of that already with with Scarlet Witch, the TV show. So I think it's going to fall kind of on those lines a bit more. But what we did get to see from that trailer was enough to have me very interested.
The scene that they show where Strange's face starts to like go into blocks and like start to peel off. Like I don't know what that is, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about, but that could be some dimension shift thing, astral plane type stuff.
All right, but going back to what I was saying, so let's kind of dissect this one scene where Kang, tells Steven that he has to pay for his mistake, and then you see him get the cuffs on, and you see him walk up surrounded by the Ultrons. I mean, what else am I calling them? All right, that's what they are. And then he goes up to what appears to be in front of a council, and all we get from said council is a silhouette and the voice that we know is Professor Xavier. All right, I mean they did not hide that.
Right.
Which leads me to A, that's their introduction of X-Men. All right, like I don't see why you're giving me Professor Xavier if you're not going to give me the rest. And 2, they are setting people up for a terrible disappointment, because I think people are seeing the Ultrons surrounding Strange, and they're going, this is another dimension. This is the dimension where Tony's Ultrons worked to how they were supposed to. And that way, in this dimension, we get the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, because his Ultrons are working. But we're not going to get that. It's like I'll be stunned if you get regular, like you will get a variation of Iron Man in this movie. We've discussed that already, but you're not getting your Iron Man.
So everything you just said was completely distorted on my end. So my bad. Just repeat yourself one more time. I'm so sorry.
So I was saying that you see the Ultrons and they're working. So I think people are making the assumption that we're in a different dimension and it's worked because the Ultrons are working. So Tony Stark accomplished what he wanted to. So I think people are assuming that because we're seeing this, they're going to get Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man. And I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think we're going to get an Iron Man. We're going to get a variation, but I don't think you're getting Robert Downey Jr.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably the Tom Cruise version that we were talking about. That's definitely it. Because even in the the mobile games and stuff that Marvel's been putting out, where it is the multiverse, and you see all these different Tony Starks, and you see all these different Doctor Stranges and everything like that. There's Ultrons that are everywhere. So Ultron technology, is definitely there, and it would make sense that in a multiverse theory, there is definitely a world where the Ultron program worked the way that it was intended, at least a little bit, to where they are just that police force for all of this.
The other thing we see is obviously Strange's interactions with Wanda. He goes to Wanda and asks her what she knows about the multiverse, which she then brings up Vision and talks about his theories on the multiverse, which leads me to believe that we could get Vision again in this. And also, I think the biggest thing that we see is Wanda looking like Scarlet Witch and saying to Strange, you make a mistake and you're a hero. I make a mistake and I'm the villain. It doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah. And there's tons of interesting concepts that you can play off of that. Do we know? because like the trailer didn't really reveal anybody that we've seen in the previous movies. Like, it didn't show Spider-Man at all. We didn't see any Eternals related stuff. We didn't see any Shang-Chi related stuff. So I wonder.
Well, no, no, no. I think
Well,
we
maybe
did
there was a
see.
little bit.
I was gonna say we did see the one scene. They don't show anybody Shang-Chi related, but that location is Shang-Chi with the dark cloud.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I assumed it was Shang-Chi. I mean I thought what was interesting is they did introduce new characters in the trailer without making any reference to them.
Yeah. So I think that, like, because one of the things we talked about was how do you introduce like the Fantastic Four and things like that. This is like a great way to do it, considering you have Charles Xavier in here already, so you have your tie-in for X-Men. You don't have to fully bring in the Fantastic Four, but you can at least have a bit or piece that's in there, just for reference that you can throw back to later. That's really what's interesting for me is how many threads are you going to pull in this movie that are going to lead to the other movies? Like, which we kind
I,
of knew that this is what this movie was. That's what this movie was going to be, but I wonder to what extent are we getting that?
can I get some comic relief and have Chris Evans is his name, right? Cap.
Captain America, yeah, Chris Evans.
Can we get him in the Cap suit and then strip down into his Fantastic Four suit since he was originally Fantastic Four?
No, they have Chris Evans, Captain America meet Human Torch, Chris
Yes.
Evans. That would be dope. That would be hilarious. Yeah.
Or or even better, have Deadpool run into Green Lantern.
Green Lantern's DC though.
He is, however, was that not Marvel related at the time?
No.
No.
So like, think
I
about the
know.
ending. Think about the ending of Deadpool 2. Like, you only reference Green Lantern because of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
Like, that was the only reason it got a reference.
that's true.
So I wouldn't necessarily think we would see that.
No, I think we do see Deadpool in this movie, though.
I wouldn't doubt it. Whether it's Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool or not, I don't know. But I think we see him.
I think it is.
I mean, you would assume
I
so.
mean, there's really no other variation Deadpool to pull from. I mean, unless we're just going completely off the cuff.
Yeah,
I think the big question is are they able to pull Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine?
right. Jackman. I know Jackman has said he would come back and do it again.
I would say he said that he would do it under the right circumstances. You know, which is why that's one of my biggest questions is were they able to pull him back?
Maybe he's been doing quite a bit. Like, he had a couple movies come out, so it's
Because I mean, you think about all the social media stuff between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and like the back and forth that they have. So somewhere in this multiverse, you have Wolverine and Deadpool bump into each other and have a little interaction.
yeah. I just don't think that that's what this movie is, though. Like, I don't think.
No, I don't think it is either. But in seemingly all Marvel movies, even in the most serious ones, we still get our bits and pieces of the comic.
It would be interesting, yeah. Like, if you had just a scene, like they were talking about, we were talking about just having that massive like extinction of all these people by Wanda. It would be cool if like you see Deadpool like hugging Logan in that last minute before they like turn to dust or whatever they're gonna do with them. Like, that would be kind of funny in a serious moment to have something like that, just to cut that tension just a little bit. Or as everybody's standing there, you just see those two like standing next to each other and just eyeball each other real quick. Like, that would be just a cool little nod to it would be really all I would need. Um, because with the just the massive amount of people that are going to be in this movie, like you, not everybody's going to get equal screen time. So I feel like it's going to be just quick mention, quick mention, quick mention here and there, and then the lead up where everybody's just gone. So tough, but I'm excited for it though. I think it's going to be good. I have no idea, where that direction of it is going, but it's darker. I think this is the first Marvel movie we've seen. Granted, having still not seen Spider-Man, that feels like it has legitimate stakes involved since like Infinity War and Endgame. So I feel like they keep tugging on that thread, which I'm here for. I'm 100% here for that. But it's more so just where I still have that concern of like, is it going to be too much, like I did with Spider-Man? Like I felt like there was a lot that was going to go on there. I feel like it's going to be the same with Doctor Strange. I know that they're going to fix that, and it's not going to happen, but it's definitely a fear that I have still.
Yeah, like I told you, your fear was alleviated with Spider-Man. They didn't. They were able to suffice everybody in there. I didn't think that they put too much or just kind of had somebody in there for the sake of having them in there. So that worked. It'll be interesting to see how they manipulate this with everybody that seems to be in it. Anything else you want to talk about from this trailer? I mean, there is the one scene with Wanda. Looks like she's back in the house from WandaVision on her knees, and another Wanda kind of holding her by the face. That was a little.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think Wanda's going to be just as big of a player in this as Doctor Strange is. So where that goes, and I obviously think that means we're getting Vision in this as well. But how that all kind of plays into it, are we also going to get Catherine Hahn's character,
Agatha?
Agatha? Like, are we going to get Agatha in this too? There's a lot, man. Like that trailer is so much to unpack that we could literally probably talk for an hour just breaking down each individual piece of it. There's just so much that I don't understand. I know where they're going with it, but like, what does it all mean? It's got a huge hook. So
Well, I think that's the great thing about this movie. When we saw Spider-Man and we saw the trailer, I mean, the question was really, Toby and Andrew, are they, aren't they? That was the question, and was there another villain that we hadn't seen? Because the trailer kind of gave us everybody.
right,
Whereas this movie, there are so many directions that we can go, and we're not sure what direction they're going.
right,
But the fun that we can have in talking about, all the different directions that they're, alluding to or they could possibly go. We are, let's see, we're about 6, 7 weeks out from that.
it's like the first week of May, I think.
Yeah, first week of May. The next big, well, I mean, we can debate big, but the next Marvel related movie that come out is Morbius here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Morbius finally comes out, and then a month after Morbius is Strange.
that's on Disney Plus though, isn't it, or is that in theaters?
No, Morbius is theaters.
Why has there been nothing for Morbius then?
Oh, the trailer's been out.
I mean, the trailer's been out, but everybody's already talking about Doctor Strange. Nobody's really talking about Morbius.
I think the Morbius hype has died because Morbius is supposed to have been out for like 4 years.
Oh yeah,
It's been pushed back 800 times.
that's true. It should be
So
a perfect movie then. Many times you push it back, it should be perfect.
you would hope.
It won't be, but it's fine.
Yeah, probably not. So then we have the Jurassic Park trailer that came out.
Yeah,
Didn't even know they were doing this. but they
No,
are.
had no idea. It's awesome though.
I would say they are, and they're doing callbacks.
They brought everybody back.
Like I'm surprised, happy, confused.
Well, so like the plot with this one is, yeah, at the end of the second one, they release the dinosaurs that are in the enclosure and everything. They just kind of let them run free. And now this is however many years later. It could be the amount of time between the two movies. And now they're living with that decision and they're seeing how the dinosaurs kind of interplay with modern society and how it's working out and how it's not working out. There may be aspects of it that are fine, and there's others that are problematic, which is kind of what they're showing us. Bringing everybody back together, like, are they trying to eradicate them again? Are they realizing that they made a mistake? Are they trying to put them back on an island for sanctuary? Like, where is this going to go?
Well, but here is my question, and maybe I'm overlooking something. But right, so you bring up the second one where they released and we get all that, okay, and then that was kind of the last one for that group, all right, who we haven't seen until this trailer. All right, then we have Chris Pratt Jurassic movies, which have been him training the little Velocas, and then we have all kinds of other problems completely separate from these dinosaurs that we're now referencing now. This is
no. These are the dinosaurs from the end of the Chris Pratt Jurassic Parks, the second one. There's like an auction, a rich people auction where people are buying dinosaurs and then transporting them to wherever they're at.
I remember when for the I guess it was the last one that whatever you want, the island I guess they were on, when that thing was basically blowing up.
The original trilogy you're talking about.
Yeah, where they had like the dinosaurs on the boat and the whole thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so the one that came out like 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. It was their second one together. At the end, like there's an auction, and I think Blue is involved. Like Blue is one of the Velociraptor that's being auctioned, but they were using Pratt's like training techniques and everything for pack hunting for Velociraptors to sell to the government. As like just government assassin killing machines is what they were looking to do.
Oh yeah, I do remember the auction. That was like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so then at the end of the movie, like they release all those dinosaurs that are at the auction. They just let them go into the wild, and we know that at the end of that first one, when they leave that island, where the amusement park and everything was, like those dinosaurs were roaming free there as well. So I think we're seeing that over the course of time, those dinosaurs have been repopulating, and their numbers are growing, and they just live amongst us now. And this is just yet another thing that we have to deal with. And we're seeing probably the fact that the original cast has dealt with this before, and they've gone out and done they're still doing their paleontology things and everything, but it's got to a point where more action needs to be taken, and it's just not Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard by themselves aren't enough, so they're bringing Goldblum back. They're bringing their names escape me, but they're bringing all three of the originals back as well, which I'm here for. I'd like to see them all work together.
I need Goldblum's character to have the same
mentality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he needs to be the same presence he was in the originals.
Yeah. Just you guys are dumb. You never should have done this in the first place. Like, why are we even here? Why are we doing this?
Like why am I here? I don't want to get eaten. Screw you guys.
Right. Yeah, because at the end of the second one with of Pratt's series, he's the one standing before Congress, speaking about the issue. So I need that same kind of. I need that. I need that guy to be the one that's in it.
And you would assume that that is the tie-in to this. Like they will put like the beginning of this movie will be whatever that Congress hearing is, and that's the way that they pull in the others.
Right.
Yeah, that would be my assumption. But yeah, again, had no idea this was happening. Caught me off guard, but I'm intrigued.
Like I think that it's going to be a good tie-in, or like just a good wrap for the entire series that is Jurassic Park, all 6 movies now.
Yeah. Like it finally be done. Like
Yeah,
we're all good.
like we took 30 some odd years to go through all this, but here it is, and we're
Like
good.
I just saw today they're making another Planet of the Apes.
Are they really?
Yeah, not
Why?
here for it. Yeah, not here for it.
They've done that series so many times now. I thought it was done after the last one. Apparently
So did
not.
I. So did I. It's not.
All right.
Um, I haven't watched the new Scream yet. Have you?
No.
I am going to check it out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They actually said it's pretty good. It's very it's a lot more, closer to the originals than the later ones. So
Well, the later ones were like the whole thing with Scream is it was making fun of other, slasher films without, like, it wasn't a comedy. It was like the thing about the murderer was that he intentionally made fun of serial killer tropes from movies, and that was what made it so real and everything. Um, and the later ones got away from that hard.
yeah,
So if they're gonna go back to that, then I'm here for it for sure. Like a
well
21st century version of Ghostface. Oh, absolutely.
the biggest thing that came from Scream was, especially for our when we were growing up, is that was everybody's Halloween costume. Everybody had the Ghostface mask.
Everybody.
Like you went out on Halloween and it was 85% Ghostface mask.
Mm-hmm. It was such an easy costume.
Yeah, yeah, and then you had the
So
ones. Then you had the ones with the button and the blood would come down
yeah,
if you wanted to get special, or they had ones that would like light up, like glow in the dark. Had all kinds of different variations.
we're showing our age again.
Oh well,
Yeah,
this is an AARP show.
for real. Yeah, Ghostface was dope, and like that was right before you got into the parodies of like the
Scary movie.
scary movie and stuff like that. So um, and they had such a killer cast still in there and everything at that point. So I mean, that was really like our generation hasn't been very good with horror movies overall, though.
No,
Like, we don't have any iconic, other than Ghostface, really, that I can think of. We don't have any iconic serial killer like
no. I mean, when you think,
Halloween style slasher movies.
yeah, I was gonna say when you think about it, all the all the horror icons or 80s or even before. I mean, Leatherface is before us. Jason is
70s and
before us.
80s.
Freddy's before us. Yeah,
Just barely, but yeah.
yeah. Right. I
Um,
was like right before us. I mean,
Michael
even Michael
Myers before
Myers.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to put our own spin on it, but still before us.
Because what did we get? Like Candyman? Candyman, I think, was before us
Candyman's
too.
before us. Yeah,
Yeah.
Candyman's before us. I don't know.
Um,
No, I mean, think about it. Our generation. Okay, our horror movies, the big ones that we had, Blair Witch Project. Okay, which is nothing.
Paranormal
All right, that's
Activity.
The Ring.
Um,
What was that other one with the ring? There were like two that were exactly the same. Forget the other one.
Well, we had Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity. We had the Conjuring series.
Yeah, that's still going on now.
That's still going. Yeah, because you had like Annabelle and all that's all
Yeah.
tied into it. Um,
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember what the trying. So the Ring was the one with the
with the tape, the 7 days. Yeah,
yeah. What was the one with the well? What was that one?
that's still the Ring.
That's the what the hell is the other one then? It's gonna bother me. I'm gonna remember it like once the show's done. Because there's another one that was exactly like the Ring. Same time, same thing. It was just slightly different.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember it though.
Yeah, it's gonna bother me. But but yeah, like we don't have yeah. But even like you just take all of those and it's like, okay, so who do you pull out of the there's nothing to pull out of those movies. There's not a like you said, there's not a Ghostface. Ghostface is our horror villain of
Yeah,
our lifespan basically.
pretty much. Because I mean, like you look at like Rob Zombie, who makes nothing but horror films, but he doesn't have an iconic character that he attaches to it. He tells a
Yeah.
multitude
I
of
mean
stories.
like the most iconic character I mean I think I think this is fair to say. The most iconic character that comes out of the Rob Zombie movies isn't even like the murderer, and that's Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
So,
Yeah, no, I
um,
can't argue that. Yeah, that's
by the way, I saw the trailer for the new Jordan Peele movie, who's like the new horror suspense guy now. You know,
yeah.
ever since he did Get Out, like he makes all the. This trailer, I'm so confused as to what they are running from. All right, first of all, the movie is called Nope.
Yeah.
And like the trailer is just people like running from something and it just looks like big wind gusts and sand. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Well, that's like M. Night Shyamalan esque a bit. Because what was that one with Mark Wahlberg, The Happening?
Yeah, the last like real big M Night Shyamalan weird one that I remember was what was that, Rings or whatever that was called, like late '90s early 2000s.
Signs?
Oh yeah, Signs, there you go.
Signs
Yeah,
with
I screwed
Joaquin
that up.
Phoenix and Mel Gibson.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
then you
there we go.
had The Village,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
and then the one that I just said. Oh, you had The Mist. No, The Mist was a Stephen King one.
I think after the
Um,
Village, I was done with M Night. I don't think I watched anymore.
but yeah, then you had The Happening, and then you got into he had a good string there for a little bit where he had Signs was good, and then what's the one with McAvoy? Um, the DID movie. Oh shit, what's it called? It's like it's a sequel to Unbreakable. Uh,
Oh, uh, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
The McAvoy's got like 27 different people inside of his head.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And then the one that followed Glass was the last one in that series. So that
yeah.
brought back, Bruce
Well, Samuel.
and Samuel L. Jackson and McAvoy together. Um, Split. That's what that was called.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
So
that trilogy was really good,
very, yeah. Um,
but that was
re-
probably the last M Night movie that I cared about.
I think that's the last one that he did, but well, the last one he's
Well,
done
even
so far.
well, even before Split, it had been a while since I cared.
Yeah, because like Signs was good. Um,
The
then he
Village
had
was
a
not so
couple.
much.
The Village, no, the Village wasn't great. The Happening wasn't great.
No.
Um, and then Then you had Split, and then Glass followed it up, and those two were really good. As far
But
as
see,
I know, he hasn't done anything since.
but here's the thing, like you said, M. Night had a good run of it. Like he had a good string of movies before they kind of got, where they weren't very good. Peele did Get Out, which was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a different spin, and it had, all its little core, and it was good. Then he made the one after that, Us, I think it was.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
It's not necessarily meant for us, though, either. Like, we're not necessarily his target audience.
Yeah,
Um,
I hear you.
but I don't know. I appreciate his style because it's different. It reminds me of Shyamalan in a lot of ways because it just has that
Yeah.
different approach to it. As a writer, I think he's great. And the way that he like directs and where his mindset is at with these is so unique and different. I'm not disappointed, even if it doesn't like necessarily resonate with me. I can't say that they're bad movies.
You know what'll probably happen? It'll probably end up on HBO or something, and I'll watch it. It'll probably be one of those.
Yeah, because he does the Twilight Zone too now. Like,
yeah, which I
Twilight
haven't
Zone's
checked.
back with
I
him.
haven't checked out.
I haven't either, but I've heard good things.
So Sean hopped on our little Calvin Ridley thing yesterday,
Yep.
and then wanted to go down a music rabbit hole because we started talking music there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but Sean apparently only listened to music for like 20 years. Like he stopped listening.
Right.
Like even bands that he probably listened to before that still made me. I'm not sure he listens to the new stuff because he was like, I only want it from this this little 20-year gap.
He said 90 to 2010.
Yeah. So anything post 2010. So even bands that he listened to post 2010, he probably hasn't listened to anything.
Yeah. But to be fair, that 20-year stretch, like we said yesterday, is like the same set of bands.
Well, what's funny is going back to our Batman conversation, and how I called him a emo Batman. The main song to this movie. All right, now I didn't double check it, but I am 99% sure it's Kurt Cobain.
What song is it?
I couldn't tell you the name.
Is it All Apologies or whatever?
No. It's not. It's not a mainstream. It's not like one of the hits.
Oh, okay.
Like I'd have to flip the phone over and Google real quick to tell you that to double check it and make sure. But
I'll hear it later in the week and I'll tell you.
Let me put it this way: I hear the voice, and it like if it's not Kurt, it's somebody who sounds exactly like Kurt.
Right. Okay.
And if I'm thinking emo, Kurt's coming in my head.
I almost bought his house.
Yes, you told me this story.
Yeah, I strongly considered it.
Not the house he died in, right?
No, the house he grew up in.
Yeah, not the house he died in.
I couldn't afford the house that he died in. No.
The house he died in is Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real fancy district of Seattle too. Huh?
I wonder if the bloodstains come with that one.
Hard to say. I don't even know.
Chalk Outline?
Chalk Outline might still be there. That'd be cool. Yeah. They have a lot of. There's like a whole Nirvana exhibit in Seattle, so like, yeah. I'm sure some of it's over there.
I mean, let me put it this way: I was not the biggest Nirvana guy growing up. I mean, I listened to Nirvana, but I wasn't like one of these end all be all. Nirvana's great. Kurt Cobain is the greatest songwriter of my generation. I wasn't that, but I had a buddy growing up who was all about Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. I mean, we know of all the conspiracy theories that surround that whole situation. I can tell you in detail every one because my man had this thing mapped out. I mean, that's how in depth he was with Kurt Cobain back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that were like that with him.
Well, there's a ton of people who are our age who not only say that he's the best songwriter of our generation, but think he's one of the greatest songwriters of all time. And I'm not anywhere near that. Sorry. Like I don't, we can sit here and talk about all these bands that we grew up with, and I'm sorry, I can go through a bunch before I'm going to get into Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, I'll sit here and argue that, Dave ends up, well, not leaving, but ends up moving on after Kurt dies because they were never going to do anything once Kurt died. Nirvana was done.
Mm-hmm.
Dave goes on to make Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters is way better than
Yeah,
Nirvana.
way more successful.
Well, even I mean, I'm not even going to compare success levels. I'm just talking about as a band, like the music as a band. Like I'll listen to Foo Fighters a million times over Nirvana.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, two completely different styles of
Well,
music
that's also
too.
true.
I mean, when Foo Fighters started, it was Dave playing every single instrument and singing, and he needed a band to play it so that he could go
Yeah,
tour it. But like Taylor Kitsch is, I think that's his name, the drummer.
close.
Close,
Close.
yeah. That dude is like an all-time drummer now. Like he's a legendary drummer. Um, so people talk about him like he's synonymous now with Dave Grohl. When you talk about the Foo Fighters, it's always those two.
Yep.
Um,
They made
so
a movie now.
yeah, like I don't know if it's out yet or if it's about to come out, but they're marketing
Yeah,
it
it's
pretty
right.
heavily.
Yeah, it's right on the. You're right. I'm not sure if it is out or if it's close to coming right on the cusp there.
And it's a movie and an album release. So like they go together because the album they're trying to make during the movie is the album that they're releasing, and it all kind of ties in. But it like Dave Dave Grohl in a lot of ways is a better songwriter
Yeah.
than Kurt was. Now Kurt had his own style and his own flair, and there was a lot of pain in his words, and the way he formatted his own childhood trauma was very well done. But I would argue
I
he's not
but I
top
think
10 songwriter for our
but
generation.
I think that's what people of our age resonate. I think that's why people resonate so much with Kurt our age is because we were growing up. Okay, like it or not, we are associated as the Columbine generation.
Yeah, because that was what 99.
Yeah, somewhere in there, late '90s.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
10.
so yeah, all right. So we're the Columbine generation, and so we have that, and we have a lot of kids. It's not like it is today, where we have all these kids that go to, they're counselors or therapists, and like talking about our feelings wasn't expressed the way it is now, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no.
So you had a lot of kids that had, whether it was turmoil or angst or personal stuff, how all these kids with things they were living it with and keeping inside. And here was Kurt with his journal expressing all that through music. And
Mhm.
I think that was the big reason Kurt resonated. I think people maybe felt more to what he was saying as opposed to just how good the songs were.
Yeah, that like, and I mean, bringing grunge to a forefront was huge. So a lot of people resonated with that. But you look at that, like 99 into the 2000s, you look at that type of music, and like I said last night, like Spotify thinks I live in 2005, which is pretty accurate as far as music tastes go. But you look at the bands that were big then, and were just coming out, like Disturbed had their first
Mhm.
album in 2000, or not, actually 99.
I
Like
was
Disturbed had
gonna
their
say,
first
yeah, I
album in
think they're right
99.
before.
Eminem was coming out, um, or was out when like we were in elementary school. He was coming out with albums, very angsty, but just kind of dark, more brooding, like very well written, but a lot of pain and
Hybrid Theory right around there too, right?
Hybrid Theory, I think, was 2000 or 99, like 99, 2000 as well.
Huh.
Hybrid Theory changed the game for a lot of people too. As a big Linkin Park fan, but yeah, Hybrid Theory was something different. Because they'd had that the people that compare Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park will piss me off, but like up until that point, it was very, very different to have rap rock. Like no one really knew what that was or had seen that before. You had Rage Against the Machine that was doing it, so I guess Rage would probably
Yeah, Rage is like mid-90s.
Yeah, but Rage was mid-90s. But you look at it was very angsty.
And it was also political.
Very super political. And but you had Green Day who was super political as well. So like Green Day dropped Dookie in like 1997. And
you want to talk about the most overplayed album of all time.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams?
No, not a song, just an album. First of all, I mean Dookie
or American Idiot and Dookie were both overplayed.
They're like horrible. There's a station. So I have a Sirius XM in my car. There's a station called they call it Turbo. That's made for people like us. It is just 90s, 2000s hard rock. All right, but the problem I have with the station, because I have it on a lot, is all right. They play the same bands, which is kind of to be expected in that thing. But it's like, okay, you can play the same bands, but they made multiple songs in these years. Like, stop driving. Like, you've killed like 5 Disturbed songs for me from the station because you just play the same shit over and over. Like, they have other stuff.
Right. So when I was living in Seattle, they had one rock station, and it played the same 5 bands, the same fucking songs the whole day. You had Metallica, you had Nirvana, you had Jimi Hendrix, Soundgarden, and Alice in Chains. That was the only bands that they would play. And it was like the same time every day you were getting the same songs. Because they had a talk show on in the morning and they had a talk show on in the afternoon. And in the in-between times, they filled it with those 5 bands and their whole set list. Like, when I said, when I was looking at buying Kurt Cobain's house and stuff, it's because I was like, well, I want to stay out here. Like, I was all about it because Aberdeen is, just a really cool city to begin with, right on the ocean and whatnot. And then you live in a city like Seattle where they just play his music nonstop and just shove it down your throat all the time. You get so sick of it that you don't want to listen to it anymore. So I totally feel you with the, like, they killed 5 Disturbed songs if they just kept playing the same shit. It's nice though when you go back to those albums from then, because you hear the same 3 songs and you listen to everything else on that album and go, fuck, this was good.
Well, that was like so pre-COVID. I would say probably a few months before COVID hit. So let's see, COVID was March, April of 2020. So I'd say probably November, December of 2019. I took my daughter to see Disturbed, and that was the first time I'd seen Disturbed in a while. And yeah, going and seeing them and then playing a lot of the old stuff like reminds you, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't know that I could go see Avenged Sevenfold now because I saw them in 2007. Was it 2007 or 2008? One of them. I think it was 2008. Right, but like 6 months before Rev died. And if I were to like go back and see them now, I don't know that it would feel the same for me. Because I'm still stuck in that nostalgia. It was right after not Bad Country, not Unholy Confessions.
I forget what the third one is.
Yeah, I know. I'm struggling right now. Whatever their third album was, well, technically their fourth album, because they had Sound the Seven Trumpets, then they had Bad Country, then they had Unholy Confessions, And then there was another one before Nightmare. I think there was another one before Nightmare.
So do I. I don't
I'm gonna
remember
Google
them.
it real quick. Hang on.
All right, you go look. So here, while you go look, going back to the whole Cobain songwriter thing, you think about, that Seattle music scene and who came out of it and people that we
Oh, it was their
listen.
self-titled.
That's why we throw us off.
Yeah, just Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
remember.
a self-titled album.
Yeah, I remember
Came
that.
out in 2007. So it was that tour, but they were still playing everything from Bad Country, Unholy Confessions. Like they still played all that. And then like Nightmare was a great album, but they just lost Jimmy, so like, well, I could go see him again if I wanted to, but do I? Their music was never the same in their.
Well, that's like here you go. Here's a band that listened to a lot growing up. Probably not so much now,
So
but
the music definitely dropped off, and that's always my concern with stuff like that. Like I couldn't go see Linkin Park now without Chester. I have an idea as to who I would want to be the lead singer there,
right.
but
Well, I mean, Mike
I
kind of
don't know
goes
that I
out.
could go see it.
They don't really tour now, right? I mean, Mike goes out and does things here and there, but it's not really like Linkin Park, right?
I can't hear you.
Yay, nay? No? Yeah?
Mm-mm.
No? Hold on. I guess I'll
You
get
figure
out
it
and come
out.
back.
I have to run upstairs for a second. My kid needs me. Give me like 30 seconds or 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Figure it out, man.
All right. I have no idea if he's going to hear me when he gets back, but we'll see if that works. Um, yeah. So hopefully this is coming through. But again, going back to the Cobain thing, thinking about bands that we listened to and people that came out of the Seattle scene at the time, blah, blah, blah. Chris Cornell, a million time better songwriter than Kurt Cobain. Like, not even a discussion. And you think about it, Cornell did Temple of a Dog, he did Soundgarden, he did solo stuff, he did Audio Slave. So, and that's a question I'm going to ask Josh when he gets back too. I was trying to think of this on my own. Cornell, 3 bands essentially. Like, I'm trying to think of people, other lead guys that have had that much success with other bands. I mean, you know, McCartney was with the Beatles, then he was with the Wings. I mean, did the Wings have that much success? McCartney solo, okay.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, you hear me as I'm talking, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
here's what I was saying. Here was my rambling while you were gone.
sure.
So when you think about people that came out of Seattle as we were growing up and people we were listening to and blah 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 blah, Chris Cornell, a million times better songwriter than Kurt Cobain.
100%.
Okay, and then what I was trying to think about on my own, and as I was the rambling, you were hearing me, was so Cornell was Temple of a Dog,
Yep.
then Soundgarden,
Yep.
Audio Slave, and had solo stuff. Okay,
Yep.
and he had varying success with all of them. I mean, Temple of a Dog had its hits, Soundgarden was big, Audio Slave was big, and he had some big hits with the solo stuff.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think of other lead guys that have had success multiple ways. So like I was in my rambling, I was thinking about Paul McCartney. So Paul McCartney obviously had the Beatles.
Yeah.
All right. Had the Wings. I don't know that the Wings were uber major.
Yeah.
McCartney solo, obviously, but I don't know that that's the same. So I'm trying to think of like other people. that
Oh,
we could put on that same?
I got three just
Okay,
off the top of my head. Phil Collins,
so Phil had Genesis.
and he had his solo career.
Okay, I
Um,
mean, all right, hold on. So let me preface this because I see the route we're going with. We can always find somebody that had a band and then went solo and had similar success solo. I want to find somebody who maybe had another band after the original band.
oh, Corey Taylor,
With
Stone Sour,
Sour
and
Stone
Slipknot.
Sour. Yeah, okay.
Look at Mike Shinoda, Fort Minor.
Mm,
I mean,
uh,
he had two big songs as his solo stint. Um, Look at Trent Reznor, like Nine Inch Nails, and all of the composing that he's doing.
okay, that's a stretch.
Eh, kind of.
Well, I mean I get the tie-in, but that's not really the route I'm going here.
But like to move Miles Kennedy,
With whatever he was doing before, and then
well,
the thing he's doing with Slash now.
he had Alter Bridge, which Alter Bridge was successful. And then you had Miles Kennedy and fucking.
Slash.
You had him with Slash, but he had his own. He had another band where it was Miles Kennedy and something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. They
Yeah.
were okay.
Um, what's his name? The guy that I don't like because he ruined two of my favorite bands. Stone Temple Pilots guy.
Oh, Scott Weiland. Yes.
Scott Weiland. Yeah.
Oh, Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver.
Yeah, that piece of shit.
He's dead now.
He should be for making Happy and Galactic.
Oh,
Fuck that guy.
That's painful. That hurts.
He ruined two of my favorite bands and then makes an album called Happy and Galoshes and calls it his masterpiece. Fuck that.
You know what else I was thinking about? I would say that we grew up in the golden age of music videos.
They started and ended in our lifetime, so yeah.
Well, they started right before our lifetime.
With Video Killed the Radio Star, yeah.
But I mean, like you think about the Californication music video and how big a deal that was at the time.
Oh yeah.
I think the biggest like innovative music video before that was probably Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer in like the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about that the other day. Like thinking about how big a deal TRL was back in the day.
Yeah, TRL. Making the top 10 countdown was such a big deal, especially if you were in the rocks. Like the rock genre was huge.
TRL made or break you.
Mm-hmm. Because like TRL, if you were a rock band, it was Avenged Sevenfold, Linkin Park, System of a Down, Papa Roach, and
speaking of, all right, you were talking about how you can't go see Avenged now because
yeah,
I couldn't go see Papa Roach now.
Why? It's still Jacoby.
It's sober Jacoby.
Oh yeah. All right.
Like I listen to new like Papa Roach has a single out now, and like I've listened and I've heard like more recent Papa, like all the angst is gone. Like
yeah, they're fucking old now. That's why.
Yeah. Well, no. All right, hold on. Let me preface this. So I don't know if it's the album before this one or two albums ago. The Lifeline album, whatever album that was.
Yeah, that's like 2 albums ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that was good. I liked that.
Yeah.
Anything past that, no.
Yeah. Well, but Jacoby has his own successful solo career and everything too. Like he's doing stuff with the Who. The Who meaning HU, Who, the Mongolian group. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. I haven't like actually listened.
I'll send you some of their stuff. They're actually pretty dope. Um, but like he's doing some of that type of stuff, and I don't hate it, but like I get it. It's not angsty anymore. Like when Disturbed said that they were going a new direction after like Sound of Silence got so big, I got
No.
concerned because I was like, oh, like Sound of Silence was great. I loved that song. I loved it. But you took that as like your gateway into being able to do a whole album like that. That's not what I want. I want to
You
hear
know,
that.
you know who I do plan on seeing this summer because they were supposed to tour like 2 years ago when the pandemic hit, and they're finally coming back, and they're finally picking that tour up now.
System?
No, System doesn't come to America anymore,
Not
or
really.
they only do like the West Coast once in a while. Like System doesn't
Yeah.
do like a tour. No,
Right.
I'm gonna see Rammstein.
Oh, Rammstein.
Yeah, I want all the fire.
Oh, I gotta send you the TikTok I found earlier. Somebody did was it Earth, Wind, and Fire remake of Du Hast? It was amazing. I'll have to find it and send it to
I've
you.
also, I've seen Metallica a bunch of times. I mean, that's nothing new, but I've been saying for the past few years I want to go to PNC Bank ballpark in Pittsburgh. I hear it's really nice, and considering
It's
that
pretty to look at.
And considering Rob Manfred is doing everything in his power to make sure I don't have baseball this year, I am trying to plan a trip to kind of kill two birds with one stone. Metallica is playing that ballpark, so trying to work that one in too.
Just be careful in Pittsburgh, man. Like that's a dirty city. Like
Just getting it, getting in, getting out.
now, granted, I mean I am a country boy, so like I look at most cities and go gross, but like that one in particular is
We should put
just
that up. We should put that up on Twitter. Josh told the Pittsburgh people it's dirty.
well, because like Pittsburgh's the home of dive bars,
Well, yeah.
so like there's just dive
I
bars
mean,
everywhere.
when you think of Pittsburgh, you think of like coal workers and bars.
Ironworks,
That's basically,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Ironworks and bars and bridges. That's like the three things in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
you know.
Uh, of a lot of different things that are going in there.
And see, Josh freezes up a couple of times and he leaves again. Yeah, he'll join back in a second. But now here he comes back. Maybe, hopefully. See, this is that Minnesota Wi-Fi in action. There he is.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
That Minnesota Wi-Fi kicking in.
Apparently, which is weird because I have like 400 megabits per second. I don't get it. But no, like, so my ex-wife's house is in Dark Knight Rises, and you look at it and it looks like it's a normal city street. But if they were to turn that camera around, you'd see crackheads and homeless people and run down buildings and all kinds of stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. So, it's just one of those cities where like it's a hard knocks blue collar city, but they don't fucking take care of it. So if you're going, get to the stadium and get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of the plan. That's kind of the plan. So I have an interesting, again going off sidetracking here because this is what we do on this show. I have an interesting dilemma with myself in the morning. So I have so our casino has a new owner. It's had a new owner since I joined, but now he's kind of taking over. So he set up what he called town hall meetings all this week.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right, mandatory to go to, but you can't go when you're working or when you're on break. So basically, you have to go either on your day off or well before you fucking start.
Okay.
That's right. Dumb. So yes, horribly. So I'm going tomorrow a few hours before I actually have to be there to do this meeting. Now, I'm going to have a big dilemma on my hands because I fully expect to go into this meeting, sit there for what's likely an hour, and him tell me absolutely nothing that affects me. But then me being the kind of person that I have questions that do affect me, and it's like, can I keep my mouth shut? It's going to be very hard.
I've never been that guy to keep my mouth shut.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking to somebody in a supervisor role that told a customer to go fuck himself the other night.
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Well, our whole thing at the casino is we're supposed to be creating an escape. I don't think I created an escape by telling him to fuck himself. Maybe I did. I don't know.
My whole thing is, my new work, they're like, if you have to tell somebody something that's bad that could cost them their job, like that's a hard conversation. I'm like, that's really not. That's fine. I don't care. But I feel you. That's a dilemma. But you have to just pick and choose the questions that you want to ask, and like it can be really good for you or it can be really bad for you. So you just have to kind of walk that tightrope. Like if it's a good question, like if they tell you a question, then you're fine. If you ask like a question and then you have to sit there and try and explain the question for a while before you even get an answer, probably a bad decision.
Nah, I don't need to explain anything. They're pretty clear and to the point.
Yeah, you should be fine.
I'm just not sure how well received they'll be, but whatever. Not my concern.
That's why you have a town hall meeting. You're supposed to get that stuff out there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be very, very open and honest.
Unless it's something where they just talk at you for an hour and you don't get to ask questions.
Then that's probably what it'll be, more than likely. Trying to think. Anything else music related that I was gonna say we were going down the path of lead singers who had multiple deals. I'm trying to think of anybody else here.
David Draymond's had a couple bands, nothing near the success of Disturbed, but artists that have had multiple successful bands, you're not so much looking at lead singers. You're looking at guitar players like Mark Tremonti.
Yeah.
Slash is a big one. Duff McKagan's a big one. Travis Barker, I guess, is a big one.
I feel like Travis has drummed for 47 people at this point.
Yeah, but so is like Tommy Lee and Mike Portnoy, and like drummers get around.
Oh, so here we go. Hold on. I got a good one for you. Okay. So hold on. I gotta get this right. I guess it was Mark. So are we gonna do Blink and Angels and Airwaves?
Angels and Airwaves. Why does that sound so familiar? And I can't place it.
Because that was what came out of the separation from Blink.
Well, that's Tom DeLonge's fault, though.
Well, I'm not. We're not talking about whose fault it is. I'm saying that wasn't. I don't think it was Tom. I think it was Mark that did Angels and Airwaves.
It was, yeah.
So I'm saying, do we put Mark in the dual success? I mean, Angels and Airwaves had a couple of.
You could. Yeah. Mark Hopp is probably the most successful bass player to be in multiple bands. Probably. Yeah, I suppose
you would think it's been a while. You would think it's been a while. Tom could stop being a dick and Blink could be Blink again.
No, Tom DeLonge's too into UFOs, man. He's not going to go back.
That's true.
That is a band that I would love to see get back together, though. Like it would be great if they could do like one last album where the three of them all had their shit together. Like that would be cool.
I feel like that's a ton of bands that we grew up with. Like, hey, I would really wish that this band would get back together.
System is another one. like System of a Down, I wish I'd get another album from them. That would be really nice. Um,
Well, System never really. I don't know if we can consider System broken up. I don't think they ever really broke up. They just stopped.
yeah, they just stopped making music, which is what it is. But like, give me give me another tour. Just give me a U.S. tour so that I can go see you guys one more time. Um, and I would be happy because I want to take
Like
Teddy.
I said,
Like that'd be cool.
you gotta be on the. Like I said, you gotta be on the West Coast for that. That's all they ever do.
That's
They do
fine.
festivals on the West Coast.
I would do it, like just to go and see it. But like,
Yeah.
as
Like I
long
said,
as Serge
everyone.
still has his voice,
I
it's
see it
fine.
pop up.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I see it pop up once in a while.
Serge had a solo career, and then um,
He had that
Darren.
other band too.
Well, no, Darren Malakian had the other band. That was Scars on
No,
Broad.
Surge did. Yes, I remember Scars on Broadway. Surge tried another band too. Wasn't never got anywhere.
I don't remember what they were called though.
Neither do I. That's why
Uh,
they never got anywhere.
but yeah, I remember Scars on Broadway had like one song.
Yeah, I think
There's,
yeah, one or two songs.
there's still bands out there that like dropped off so hard, like Hollywood Undead. Like, they still make
Oh
music,
God.
and it's not any good. But I remember them when they were like first coming out, and their first couple of albums were solid. Like they were so good for a while. Um, trying to think of like we're not really hearing from any of these bands anymore. Like Avenged Sevenfold hasn't had an album since The Stage, and The Stage wasn't great. Uh,
Yeah. I think about like and I'm steering off of like the hard rock from a second, but I think of like the I mean, if you want to call them emo, go for it. But like I think about like the early 2000 bands that like were like heavy on the spin, like the Jimmy Eat Worlds and the Taking Back Sundays,
yeah,
and then the like they're all gone.
AFI,
They're all
yeah,
gone.
oh yeah, um, yeah, AFI was a big one for me back then. Um,
AFI, yep.
uh, My Chemical Romance.
Well, they're still touring.
Yeah, but even like, what's the name of that band where I can't understand 90% of what the singer says, but everybody likes them? Fallout Boy.
Oh, that wasn't where I thought you were going with that, but okay.
Yeah. Just the most ridiculous lyrics in the world, but like Fallout Boy hasn't put out music in forever. Um, you go even into like the underground stuff like Cottonmouth Kings and things like that. You don't hear from any of them anymore.
I think the last time Fallout Boy put out music was when they ESPN took a song for the national championship.
Hmm. Like you still get Skillet though. Like Skillet's been doing it forever.
Yeah, yeah, that was never a big Skillet guy.
That's okay. You don't have to be, but like they always have at least one song per album that gets a metric fuckload of radio play. You don't have to like them, but I respect the hustle that they've been doing it pretty much my whole lifetime, like since I was a kid at least, and like they're still there as a. They were a trio originally. Now it's a foursome, but like they still put out music all the time. They're still relevant culturally in the genre.
You want you want to know who's pissing me off right now?
Sure, Rob Manfred.
AC
Got it.
ACDC.
Oh, ACDC. What do you have against Brian Johnson this time?
I don't have anything against Brian Johnson because first it was they were done touring because Brian had all the health issues.
Yeah, with his
But
ears
then
and
it
stuff.
was yeah, but then it was like they figured out a way where he got something installed where it wouldn't damage him any further and it would allow him to. And they were back in the studio, and then there was talk that they were going to tour and all this other stuff, and I was ready, and now I hear nothing. Like Let's go. I
Well,
mean,
ever
I,
since,
I understand Malcolm died.
yeah, but I mean, Malcolm was a big piece of that. So once the band members
Yeah,
start
but
dying
that's but
off,
but
dude,
but
like
but
that's
yeah, but the last thing that I had heard was it was post Malcolm's death, and Brian was talking, and he was basically saying that this album that they were putting together in the studio was similar to well, and now when similar to is a stretch because trying to match anything up to this album is nearly impossible. But it was almost like their Back in Black version for Malcolm.
yeah. I don't know. Bands like that though that have been around for that long, like they've been around for 50 years.
I mean, come
I
on,
can
Skinner still
understand.
tours, and that's like two original members.
The fucking Boston still tours. Styx still tours. They're on the state
Journey
fair
Journey
circuit.
still tours,
Journey still tours, but they're not putting out new
and
music.
that's a
They're just
completely
playing
different
their
lead singer.
right, but they're just playing hits. They're not making new music. They're just living off of their previous music, which is
Let me
fine. I don't mind.
and let, and let me tell you, the first time I saw the new Journey lead singer, my mind was blown.
Well, that dude's good though,
He's good. I didn't expect that to come out of that.
right? Yeah, that's one of those looks are completely deceiving bits. Um, I think that when like we start seeing Disturbed on the fucking like state fair tours, where like they're the classic
One
rock band that comes out that's
because
playing all their hits. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I always see you say this. You say the state fair tour. I always look at the casino circuit.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like
No.
Tesla. Tesla's a casino band.
Oh yeah,
Motley
no
Crue.
Tesla, no Tesla.
Motley Crue at the end was a casino band. Um, who else? Brett Michaels, Poison, tour band or casino band. Like,
Yeah, there's a bunch of casino bands.
yeah, it's
Hey,
tough, man.
real quickly here before we wrap up, since we're talking about music and we started with movies, and this just popped in my head. Did you see the trailer for this Elvis movie?
Oh yeah, I did. I think I
Like,
caught
I'm
it
not a
randomly the other day.
yeah, I'm not the biggest Elvis guy, but I'm intrigued by the movie.
It caught my attention for sure. Yeah, I still don't think we'll ever see a better Elvis representation than we did in Forrest Gump, but I'm willing to give it a shot if I don't have to pay to watch it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to the theater for it.
Oh, I was going to tell you about this too, since we're talking about movies. I've the Robin Hood with Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx is on HBO Max right now, and it's actually not bad. It's not a bad Robin Hood movie.
I
It's different, but it's not
I
bad.
wa- I want to say I think I saw it.
If you have HBO Max, go check it out. It's actually not bad.
Nah,
They made a big deal of it at the time, and it definitely flopped at the box office, but it's not a bad movie. It's actually pretty decent.
you know what? You know what else I saw today that I kind of put off on the back of my mind and kind of forgotten about? Mayans is coming back.
Mayans, the Sons of Anarchy spinoff.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that. Got a buddy of mine that's in that.
Well, I mean, I knew. All right. When I say I kind of forgot about it, but like it's been so long since the last season, I had no idea when it was actually coming back. And then at the movie theater today, they actually showed when it was coming back.
Nice. That's like Peaky Blinders is coming back too.
Yeah, I was never into that one.
Oh, dude, that's such a good show. Tommy Shelby is one of the best gangsters like depicted in a TV show ever. Peaky Blinders puts Sopranos to shame.
I think we had the conversation before talking about Mayans, but like I'm still waiting for the the
The
original
first
Sam
9,
Crow.
yeah, the original Sam Crow, the first 9, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know that Kurt Sutter's doing
it's
that
a,
anymore.
it,
I haven't heard anything on it in so long, which is
it,
fine. Don't fuck with it.
well, Kurt's kind of all over the place at this point.
He can do whatever he wants. He was so successful with Sons. But if you're gonna do the first 9, it
Yeah.
needs to feel like the original Sons. Like you can't do something different. That's just gonna piss people off.
Yep. Oh, lastly, speaking of pissing people off, I can piss you off very quickly.
Great.
There is a fan expo convention in Philly. I don't know exactly when it is. Maybe it's this weekend. It's somewhere in the near future. I've seen it pop up on my feed a few times. And your idol is there.
The fucking lead singer from Mudvayne.
No. I'm not being sarcastic.
My idol is there. Kevin Smith?
Correct.
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, he's in New Jersey.
Actually, it's basically like it's actually depending on what day you go, you can basically get the whole Clerks lineup. You can get him, you can get both of them, you can get the kid that from movies.
Brian O'Halloran is always at that stuff. Yeah,
When's Clerks 3 coming out? That's really the question.
They haven't said, but it's going to be soon. I think he said April, May timeframe. I think it's done. He's done a couple.
Let's go. Let's get that thing out there.
I'm here for it, man. Like if I got
is that going to the theater or is that going to streaming?
No, it'll be in theaters. It'll probably be very similar to what they did for Reboot. I think he might try and roadshow it, or it's just going to get it might get a theater release. I haven't seen the trailer for it, so I don't know. He does his podcast is actually going. His podcast is live right now. I'm sure he's probably going to talk about it. He talks about it every week. I just don't pay attention because he never gives like a date. So when I watch that tomorrow, I'll see if it gets announced. But yeah, he's a Jersey native, obviously. So something in Philly, like he spends all of his time between the Smod Castle and L.A. So it makes sense. One day, I'm telling you, I'm going to fly out there so that I can go and see all this shit. Like, I want to go see the Quick Stop and all those places.
Come on down.
I will eventually. I just don't know when.
It's a good race now. Who's coming down first? You or Carl?
Probably Carl. Carl doesn't have a newborn.
No. I'd still put you in the lead. Carl's supposed to have been here like 17 times already.
Carl was supposed to be here a couple times already too. So
yeah,
we'll see.
But all right, so that's it. I'm gonna go on the old Google machine here. I'm gonna see if I can find a Clerks 3 date. I'm also gonna double check this Batman song, see if I'm right that it's Kurt.
All right,
double check that stuff.
Cool, man.
All right, so that's it. When something else important comes up, we'll do another show. That seems to be the rate we're going. So
pretty much.
We'll see how it goes. All right. Until then, adios.